everyone, it's Jean. Jean with the messy desk again. So the reason why I'm stopping by today is, firstly, just to let you know that I have been making videos, but for some reason, my phone will shut off mid-video, and there's not anything wrong with the phone. I've checked the storage. I don't know if I'm not pushing the right buttons or what the case is, but just as a quick recap, I did do a short showing you how I applied the little flip ups. Now, I'm going to take the ephemera out so you can see the actual design. So I used some vintage buttons. Some of the lace is new, some is more vintage, and then this big flower at the bottom. And I just thought that looked really cute. So then what you have here is, for example, if you wanted to put a photograph, you can put that right in there. And then I had a rose like off to the side. That one might be too big. I just stuck these roses in here so that you can do with them what you want to later. Now this is a deep pocket, so you can't even see the teacup, or you could put the teacup on the outside. Some of these things, even though they're going into pockets, if you want to put bulb pins on them or paper clips on them, you can, and that'll help hold some of the things in. And then I haven't decided if I'm keeping the dowel, so I clipped it into my fabric journal like that. And then I've added some of the recent tags that I did. And here is the other one. So let me take out the ephemera so you can see what it looks like. And this one, I've got glue and all kinds of stuff over here. So this one, if you look at it, down here I put some yo-yos. And if you don't know how to make a yo-yo, I'll show you here in a moment. But this was the one that I wanted to keep this view on the I think it was a hanky that was cut in half. And then this collar reminded me of the moon. So I just left that as a tuck spot. And then because I had to sew the moon up, here's another tuck spot. And then if you go to the top, there's another one. And it's a pretty deep one so that you can put things that are more personal maybe in there. That's up to you. So I just had some of these rose, it's ephemera from one of Tim's Holt's collections. So I put this in there and then added a little bit of greenery, added this little bird, and this says Paravion. So it's really nice for holding ephemera, but at the same time you can lift it up. And the sewing's not too, not bad at all on the back. So then you can put something on the journal itself, the journal page. So this one I don't have clipped in for some reason. Maybe I didn't have another clip right where I needed it. But I'll give you a brief overview of the journal since I have actually sewn in one big signature. So the first page is like this, and it's just basically tuck spot, pocket, and here's a tuck spot. These are some tabs. They are made from fabric and paper and tea stained papers. And then here I used another of these for a belly band. This is just a beautiful piece of embroidery work. The next page also has a belly band, but this lifts up as well. So you would be able to put something in there. I didn't sew it down to the side. This piece has a little notebook. So I'm going to put that in there. I made that a while ago and it just fit in nicely. On this page, it has one pocket, and I just put the little guy in there that we worked on the other night. This is a bow that I made. I'm not sure if I did a tutorial on these, but I may have, inspired by treasure books. And then here we have a tag that has a lace pocket, and it just goes right under the belly band. And here we have the other page under the flip, and then another piece of real pretty embroidery. I put the gentleman and the woman here. This is just like a little medal, and this is the doily that's on the inside. So we flip that over and then this over. I still have some Scotch tape on there. I need to fix that. So this one's just a little pocket. I just put this blue piece in it. It's another Tim Holtz. He has a really nice set. I don't know what he calls it, but they're like Victorian postcard covers and book covers, and I really love those, and I think they go well in this book. Saves me from making lots of journal cards. This one's also sewn all the way in, so you can't really do anything with this one, but if you did want to make a pretty nosegay or, some type of art to put there. Here is my other little tag, and I just put 3 of the tags in there, and this is just a band, and I had to put a butterfly in here. This is the other page. I love this doily, and it looks nice on the cream background. This is another one of my tabs. Here's a page. Here's this flip up, so you can do something nice here, cover it up if you want, and even put a closure on it. That would be cute. This is the other side of that little girl doily, and here's a pocket. It was a corner piece that I got probably at a antique mall. And so I sewed the corner piece. And then this is some vintage sequin. And this really blings it up a little bit. So you never know what you're going to find in this journal, because I keep finding pieces and just adding it. So it's very eclectic. So here is the other little pocket that's inside this doily, and I think it's so cute how it folds down there. And then the last page has this very shiny gold lace and some ribbon roses, and again another pocket that you could easily put things into. And then this one is going to be a double pocket there. So that is my, and I bound it with these two big, they're either abalone or just shell buttons, but I got them out of my button collection or my button box. And just to give you an idea of my review of doing a fabric journal, they're very, very fun and they're very addictive because as you go along, you're like, oh, well, I can make this page and I can make this page and I can make this page. And it's also a fun way to keep some of those embroidered pieces that you don't want to be thrown in the wash or ruined by coffee staining. These pieces can come up very easily, so it's a great way to save those pieces and use them in your art. One thing I think I will do differently in the future is make my cover much bigger, because, and I might do like a wraparound cover, because I love looking at this and seeing all that goodness, but I haven't really put that much in here. So if I start putting more stuff in, like this flower is 3-dimensional, it's going to get really fat. So make sure that you make the cover large enough to accommodate any type of growth that you end up having as you add your tags and your ribbons and all the things that can make it 3D. So that's my review on my journal. So it's not finished. I do need to go in and make some things for some other pages. I probably will take some of the Tim Holtz things out and make my own journal cards and tags to put in there. I might have some that I can already use, so I will definitely look for that, because I was thinking there's a page here. Oh, I put this, but I actually, well, she's not going to fit in there because she's too, let's see. Okay, she would fit in there. So yeah, that's what I mean, is then you have some bulk. So it really needed to be a little bit longer for around the sides. But it's a lot of fun, and if you have laces and things and you want to make something beautiful, this is certainly the way to do it. So that's my my opinion on fabric journals. And I'll talk about this in a minute, but I wanted to show you really quick, if I can find my circles. Okay, so yo-yos were an idea that was brought about through the Great Depression. So during the Great Depression, they made feed sacks for their livestock out of material, and they made it printed. So the feed sacks back then, we're talking like 1938, 1936, they were saved and washed up, and they were made into clothing. So if you've ever seen any pretty feed sacks That's where they came from. And there's all kinds of designs I've seen. I mean, I love the floral ones, and that's probably what they used a lot. But there's you can get like Aztec designs and everything on them. So I don't know whether they were made in the US or not, but they're really fun, and a lot of people collect them. There are quilts made out of them. There are quilts made out of yo-yos. So I want to show you real quick, and don't worry about my hands. I was using some gesso earlier, and that always gets my hands. So what I do when I start a yo-yo is I cut the size of circle that I want. And this size circle is probably about a 2.5 inch. It's going to create a small yo-yo. So I just fold down the top like this, and I go in and out. And as I'm going in and out, I'm folding around the circle. So I am stitching on the part that is folded, not the part that is, I don't leave my edges raw is what I'm saying. The original design is to fold them in, and then that makes a nicer finish when you're done. Now I will tell you, you can make doilies pretty much out of any kind of fabric that you want to. But after families made their clothing out of the feed sacks, what they would do is they would, if there was something that someone outgrew, or it got a hole in it, or something that caused there to be some type of problem with it, what they would do is they would cut little circles out of the clothing and stitch them like this and make yo-yos. And so if you look on eBay or other selling sites, sometimes you come across a yo-yo quilt, and yo-yo quilts are beautiful, but boy, I can't even imagine how long that would take. You'd have to make thousands of yo-yos to be able to make one yo-yo quilt. But what I'm noticing is that yo-yos are coming back into style. So I noticed a couple artists that are junk journalists that provide kits for people. If they're fabric or lace or, trim of some sort, they will offer yo-yos as well. And I also saw in the fashion industry, they are wearing yo-yos. And what they do is, for example, they put a girl in a nice white t-shirt, and then over top of it, they make like a half tank top out of the yo-yos, and you can wear it and display your yo-yos like that. And I think that's really cool to do that. Several years ago, people were making candle mats with them and all kinds of fun things. But as you can see, yo-yos have been around since the late, probably, I would say the 30s, at least, or, you know, or even maybe prior to that. But the the idea of a good yo-yo, you have to kind of, you know, position it after you pull the thread through. But the indication of a good yo-yo is that you will see a hole, a little tiny hole there. So you don't want to pull it so tight that it's puckered up. You want to leave yourself just a little hole, and that helps you to make an authentic yo-yo. Now, sometimes your fabric choices cause you to have issue. Now, I just sewed these yo-yos on today, and each of them has a hole. This one's a little bit wider than the other ones, but each of them have a little hole, so they worked out okay, and this fabric was really good. So, since yo-yos are being used in our art, I made a mixed media flip so that you could use this either in your fabric journals or in your paper journals. It has a paper pocket here. It has a more shallow lace pocket here. And then right under the yo-yos is a pocket. And then behind the yo-yos is a pocket. And then it has 3 tabs in case you want to hang this or attach it some way. So this is one of the pieces that I just finished today that have the yo-yos on it and the matching tabs. Now, this particular piece of ephemera that I made, it's just a little tag. And when I was trimming off the edges of some of the lace, I just saved some of the pieces. This is just a little tag, and I put some gesso and some ink on it. So that's what this is. This is a hot air balloon, and I went over it with some gesso, and I also stamped and did a few things. So let me show you just basically what you can do with an image that you have that you want to use for a background, but it's too busy. So the first thing that I do is I get some gesso. Now this gesso will last me my whole life probably. I only put a little bit out. I don't have any pans or anything. I just put it on harder cardstock paper. And then I just take my hands and I go over these sections here. Over these sections that I don't really like or don't really want on my background. And I'm actually, with my finger, I'm just trying to spread it out because I don't want it to come off being extremely white either. So that's something, the whiteness is something that you can kind of fix with your papers you have. Gesso is almost always used in mixed media art. And one reason is that it can prepare what they call the substrate or the piece that you're working on. It can prepare it for paints or sprays or whatever you want to do on it. So that is, I'm going to gesso a little bit down here because I think it just needs some there going upwards. Okay, so let me, and it dries really fast if you don't make it thick. And then you can take all kinds of stamps, and this would be another medium, of course. The color I want is over here. So I'm going to use this little leaf stamp, which is so cute, and just kind of stamp lightly in different places. And then I also have, let me get my black. Black. I put this girl over here so she doesn't get lost. I think it's under here, and I'm just hiding it under my stapler. So I have this little stamp. It's like it has bubbles on it, and I'm just going to use the stamp with my hand, and I'm going to stamp different places on my clock piece here. And I'm just going to stamp a little bit up here, and I'm going to stamp some right here, and we'll put a little bit more up here. And it's kind of funny when you think about using gesso and using stamps. Why do we stamp over or want to make opaque some of the backgrounds? And it's just because it makes a more interesting look to your piece. Now, there's a stencil I want to use, and don't hate me, but it's really cruddy, so we'll see if we can use it in just a second. I wanted to I was trying to decide if I needed another stamp going the other way. I wish I had. Let me see if this will work. This is just a card, and it's a little bit heavier weight. Oh, actually, let me use my ruler. That will be better. So sometimes with mixed media, what you have to do is find whatever you can find, basically, and use that tool. So I want some lines on this, so I'm going to use the edge of my ruler. You might use the edge of a credit card or harder cardstock, anything that you can get that will help you make some interesting lines. Okay, you don't have to put a whole lot on. You can just put a few. But I think they look really cool when you put the lines on. And this is a distress ink, but it's permanent. So these aren't going to wipe off. So that's good. I'm going to put a couple more shorter ones down here at the bottom. And there you go. So there is one way that you can add mixed media. So we used the gesso, we used some rubber stamps and ink. So now we need to use something a little bit different that will give it some color. Now I have some of my Dilutions ink spray, and I'm hoping it'll come out. It wasn't earlier. Okay. It is coming out. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm spraying it up here at the top, and just little spritzes because I don't want a whole lot. Then I can take water, oops, it's getting in my fingers, and spritz the ink with the water, and it'll run even more. And you see how it's getting caught in the gesso. And that could have been because the gesso wasn't completely dry, but I don't want this too green. But I do want it to run down all the way to the bottom. Because this background to me reminds me sort of a door. I don't know why. And with the clock in the middle. Okay, where did I put my hand wipe so I can get the screen off of me before I go any further? They've got to be here. Okay. Wait a minute. I think I found my paper towel. Well, okay. And camera's still going. So we're good for right now. This doesn't come off completely off your hands. But when you wash your hair or something, it'll come out. It's not even, if you use some kind of soap, it should come out. I'm going to spritz one little spritz right there. So I want some to go down into that white piece. Okay. Actually, that's kind of a good idea. And you use what you can to kind of create the look that you want. Now, the paper's wet, so I don't want to fool with it too much. But you get the idea of how you can add the spray, and then it causes it to be a completely different background. Now, the only thing that I haven't done with this one that I did with the hot air balloon was I did not add any paper to it. I didn't want to add any paper, and I just wanted to show you based on the tools that you have. Whoa! Sorry about that. That was my fan. And and wanted to remind you too that if you have you know, if you want to do the collage style, you know, that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to try to use this stencil. I used it for something else the other day and it got all gloopy. Here's the one I want. And where did my dauber go? Over here. I swear I'm gonna get myself just facial things because these daubers, they end up somewhere else usually. Let me see if that's even coming out. Oh yeah, a little bit. Might have to wait till it dries some. I also have a brush here. I'm going to try this brush and see if it paints better. I just want the roses to be able to show. Let's see. They're kind of coming out. Could be that the paper is still a little bit wet. I don't have my heat gun here. I think it's in the attic. My husband likes to take stuff and hide it in the attic because he doesn't like all my stuff. It's kind of funny. We have that love-hate relationship when it comes to my craft supplies. But hubby and I will have been married 28 years tomorrow. So you may not see me tomorrow, or you may see me tomorrow. He, I can't walk to go out anywhere, so I just told him, let's just eat in and enjoy our time together. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put something right here and then we'll be done with this. So what the reason why I made these backgrounds and I thought they were really fun is because we can then take them and I'm going to see if I can go around the edge of that with this. I might need this dauber. You can take them then and put images or lace or whatever you want on them. And then I thought they would look really nice for some of the Tim Holtz images, which I have a bag of them over here. So the one with the clock, I think, should have some type of gentleman, like this guy. And the one with the hot air balloon could be anybody, really. Let's see if I can find another boy. Oh, I didn't realize I had these big ones, but these big ones would go really good. He's got some ears. Do I have another one of those big ones? They might be somewhere else. Oh yes, there's a lady. So let's say we change this guy and put this guy up and put this lady here. But I really think they need something else, and I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if maybe they need some lace underneath, or white seems to be like it's gonna be too stark. Urgh. Okay, I'm going to put this on, but I'm going to turn this over, and I'm just going to put it right here, and I think my glitter glue will work. It has its stopper in it, so well, I thought it would. That's one thing about the glitter glue. If you don't keep the stopper in it, it really does clog up because it's so fine. Okay, I'll put that like that. And then I will put this one over here, like this, and hold it. I'm not 100% convinced on those big ones. Where's my bag? Let me see if I have any more. There's some that are like this one, where I think that's really cute on there. And let me see if there's another one. Here's one with 3 girls. They're so cute. I'll put this one in remembrance of my dad and his 2 brothers, because they had to work in the coal mines when they were younger. So let me put this one on. That looks right good. And we will take these guys and we will put Dad, his twin, and my Uncle Sonny, who have all passed away. We'll just put them here because they remind me of the coal miners. And there we go. So the only other thing I really want to do is I want to cut this so it looks like a tag. So let me get my scissors here and cut this like this and turn it over. It's going to cut some of the fabric, so I'll have to see if it'll stay on or not. I might have to glue it on the front. Let's see. No. It's jolly good, eh? So we will put this one on top and just cut here and cut here. Haven't thought yet what I will use as a topper for these, but I just wanted to show you my basic process for taking a background and changing it into something that looks different, but you can still feel that the background is in play in your project. So I don't know if you can see this, but this says love, life, and time. And I think that's so appropriate for my father and his brothers. And this one is just a clock with a couple. And I was thinking about our anniversary and how it's been 28 years and the time going by. So I may give this one to my husband and see what he thinks. But I had a lot of fun visiting with you. I know this was a mishmash of videos, or I'm sorry, content, but I don't always get a chance to spend time with you all because of technical issues. So if you have any questions, concerns, let me know. If you have your own mixed media style, let me know. And we, I would love to see what you come up with for your designs. And so we can share and see what each other does. Now, if you've ever watched my videos before, I always mention to you that if you participate by making one of these projects and putting it on my website, which is Lilac Lane Livery Arts on Facebook, that I will send you a little package for help or supporting my page as well as making one of my designs. So I really appreciate you stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.